The movie starts with Ben quietly sitting in a dark room. Then it shifts to him driving and chasing a car with a girl named Kim trapped inside. After crashing, he tries to save her from an oncoming truck. The scene cuts back to Ben in the dark room, now with two dead bodies. The movie then shows a couple having fun, but the woman becomes upset and decides to leave with their daughter, Kim. The man impulsively kills her with a pocket knife, unaware that Kim witnessed it. Shocked, Kim flees and boards a ship with other immigrants. Later, Ben expresses his desire to quit his wild lifestyle and be with his wife, while sitting with his friend Max. While Ben expresses his desire for a change, we witness him confronting troublemakers. He informs his colleagues of his decision to prioritize his family from now on. Shortly after, the military intervenes, firing at the criminals on a ship. Upon investigation, they find numerous trapped individuals seeking assistance. Among them is Kim, visibly frightened and the youngest. Upon returning home, Ben warmly greets his wife, Cynthia, and their child engaged in a game. As he takes off his shoes, his son eagerly asks if he'll join in the video game. Ben accepts, and they both engage in the game. The rescued individuals are instructed that they'll receive food but must follow all directives. Cynthia, Ben's spouse, observes Kim and escorts her to an ambulance. Later, she approaches her supervisor, expressing exhaustion and the belief that it's unjust, yet she insists on taking Kim home for just one night. Although her boss is initially hesitant, Cynthia persists, highlighting Kim's young age of only 14. Eventually, the boss reluctantly agrees, stipulating that Kim must appear in court the following day. Cynthia goes to the ambulance to meet Kim, introducing herself and attempting to engage in conversation, though Kim remains silent. Afterward, Cynthia and Kim return home. Cynthia introduces Kim to Ben and displays affection in front of her. Kim feels uncomfortable. After Cynthia exits the room, Ben offers Kim some ice cream. He passes the cup to her, and she starts eating. Ben smiles gently. Later that night, Cynthia approaches Kim and inquires about her origin. Kim remains silent. Cynthia gently kisses her forehead before leaving. As she switches off the lamp, Kim speaks for the first time, requesting to keep the lights on. Cynthia responds in Chinese, surprising Kim. Moving on from the room, Cynthia and Ben share a passionate moment, embracing each other. Afterward, they relax in the bathtub and discuss their work. Ben expresses his desire for Cynthia never to leave him, and she assures him she never will. The scene shifts, revealing the individual responsible for Kim's mother's death, identified as Sun Quan. He rendezvous with another person, expressing his determination to reclaim his daughter, regardless of the circumstances. It appears that the murderous father has journeyed to the USA solely to apprehend his daughter. Shortly after, we witness Cynthia in a courtroom, disputing with the judge. The judge declares Kim's illegal status in the USA, stating she cannot remain. Cynthia asserts that Kim faces significant peril, given her father's history of violence. Despite the judge's lack of enthusiasm, Cynthia pleads for a week to substantiate Kim's perilous situation, to which the judge acquiesces. Afterward, Squan demonstrates his martial arts skills atop a nondescript rooftop. He promptly encounters Cynthia's employer and informs Squan that he has located his daughter, revealing his awareness of Cynthia's connection to Kim. In the subsequent scene, Cynthia appears with her Asian parents, along with Kim and her son. Cynthia's father engages in political discourse, mentioning his own immigration to America, but it doesn't alter anything. Nicholas and Kim depart from the brunch to escape the political conversation and take a breather. Before long, a few of Squan's henchmen barge into the building, firing indiscriminately after murdering Cynthia's parents. Using the same pocket knife, Sun Quan fatally wounds Cynthia. Kim and Nicholas flee from the assailants as they exit. Ben encounters them and spots a confident-looking Asian man. Upon seeing the armed men, Ben opens fire and mows them down with his car, swiftly eliminating all of them. Filled with fear, Ben enters the house and discovers his deceased wife on the floor. He cries uncontrollably and embraces her tightly. Calling out for his son, he desperately hopes that he is safe and unharmed. Later, Ben, overcome with grief, sifts through the case file and identifies the same suspicious individual. He resolves to locate his son. The hired killer receives a call from Sun Quan instructing him to visit Ben's residence and eliminate him. Accompanied by his colleague, Ben returns home. Upon entering the house, Ben breaks down in tears, attempting to drown his sorrow with alcohol. He decides to continue weeping until the criminals invade his home. The Asian man, with his martial arts skills, startles Ben and attempts to attack him, but Ben, demonstrating his own agility, evades every strike. Subsequently, the assailants depart, and Ben receives a call from his friends informing him they have located Nicholas, his son. Hastening to the location, Ben checks on his sleeping son and then bombards Kim with numerous questions, displaying a somewhat harsh demeanor. Overwhelmed, Kim cries but tries to assist, and shortly after, Nicholas enters, inquiring about his mother. Ben shares the details with him, and they share a heartfelt embrace. Accompanied by his masked friend, Ben ventures into a brothel bustling with attractive women, gambling, and unsavory activities. Bursting through the entrance, they instigate panic among the patrons as they approach their target room. They come under attack, but Ben effectively defends himself, effortlessly overpowering all the assailants. Meanwhile, the Asian man enjoys a hedonistic lifestyle, indulging in the company of women after committing more acts of violence. Ben ascends the stairs and finally enters the room, where he dispatches the Asian man, avenging his wife, who had anticipated the man's ultimate demise would be impactful. Blood splatters in every direction, transforming the room into a scene of chaos. Hoggins, Cynthia's superior, encounters Squan, who expresses frustration over his daughter's absence. Sun Quan issues threats to Hoggins, but Hoggins retaliates, accusing Quan of jeopardizing their illicit operations. Ben is in a frenzy, eliminating all opposition. He reunites with his friends to strategize on how to locate Quan. He proposes reaching out to Hoggins, as he could have insights into Squan's identity. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and a visitor enters, inquiring about Ben and questioning if he had been to the red light district the previous day. The visitor is aware of Ben and his friend's actions at the red light district but doesn't explicitly mention it. Upon departure, the visitor hints that even Hoggins was present at the crime scene, confirming to Ben that Hoggins had some involvement in the situation. Later on, Ben informs Nicholas that he's departing temporarily and encourages him to become stronger. Ben assures Nicholas he'll return. In the next scene, we find Ben and his friend stationed in a parking lot, awaiting the opportune moment. They spot Hoggins and swiftly drive their car towards him, startling him. Hoggins is taken aback to see Ben and is soon stunned by Ben with a taser. Some of Quan's henchmen witness the scene. As Hoggins rises, he finds himself encircled by Ben's friend. Ben demands answers about Cynthia's killer and Squan's identity, but Hoggins remains silent. In response, one of Ben's allies inflicts pain on Hoggins' arm. Hoggins cries out in agony. Shortly after, Ben receives news of immigrant casualties, prompting his departure. Meanwhile, his companions continue interrogating Hoggins, drilling him for information. Although they ascertain Hoggins aided Quan, they remain clueless about his whereabouts. Upon discovering their adversary's location, they put an end to Hoggins' life. Meanwhile, Ben arrives at the hospital only to discover that the doctors have been killed by the same Asian individual. Ben pursues them and observes as they attempt to escape on a motorcycle. He eliminates one of them and commandeers their bike, initiating a thrilling pursuit through a mall. After an intense chase, Ben finally apprehends the individual and swiftly terminates him. While driving later, Ben reminisces about moments spent with his wife and son. However, his attention is diverted when he witnesses Quan's henchmen kidnapping Kim and Nicholas. Ben springs into action, embarking on another pursuit. His friend is distraught upon witnessing the henchmen responsible for abducting his son and Kim, who have also killed all of their allies who assisted Ben. Currently, we observe Ben in pursuit of the criminals on a highway, where they have Kim and Nicholas captive. Despite Ben's attempts to shoot at them, halting their progress proves challenging. They collide their vehicles with each other. It dawns on us that this is the same scenario we witnessed earlier. Ben manages to halt their vehicle, but while attempting to extricate Kim, a truck careens directly towards him. Thankfully, he pulls Kim into the car just in time, evading the truck. In a secluded area, we observe men working when Squan receives a call informing him that they've lost track of Kim but have located Ben's son, Nicholas. Squan instructs the individual to take Nicholas to their residence, where they will rendezvous. Upon returning home, Ben discovers his friends seated outside, their solemn expressions betraying the grim news. Merely by observing his friend, Ben grasps the devastating reality that all of his companions have perished. He bows his head in sorrow, gazing at the cityscape while smoking. When Ben's friend offers to accompany him, Ben declines, resolved to retrieve his son at any cost. His friend doubts his ability to confront Squan alone. Kim enters, expressing her inability to sleep and her concerns for Nicholas. Ben reassures Kim that he'll retrieve Nicholas no matter what. However, before Kim departs, Ben imparts the painful truth that Quan is her father. Despite Kim's disbelief and tearful denial, asserting the impossibility of Kwon being her father, she flees. Ben reluctantly agrees to his friend's company, despite his aversion to further loss of life. As Kwon approaches Nicholas, who sits alone, his face contorts into a sinister expression as he draws a knife. Meanwhile, Ben and Kim travel to the location, where a multitude of men are present along with Nicholas, some arriving by boat. Upon their arrival, Ben contacts his friend to confirm readiness, expressing gratitude for the assistance. The goons confine Nicholas to a room before departing. Before departing, Ben entrusts his jacket to Kim, instructing her to call the police if he doesn't return within 20 minutes, embracing her warmly before departing. Ben accelerates his car, crashing it at high speed, resulting in a small explosion, showcasing his daring nature. He then proceeds to shoot and eliminate everyone in his path. Through a window, Ben spots Kwon holding Nicholas at knife point. As Ben approaches the main threat, his friend stealthily boards the ship and systematically eliminates the adversaries. Together, they dispatch the enemies one by one. During the confrontation, an Asian assailant slashes Tony's forehead, impairing his vision with blood. Despite the hindrance, Tony continues to resist. He sustains multiple stab wounds due to his impaired sight, enduring further injury just before his assailant can deliver a fatal blow. In a last-ditch effort, Tony retrieves a knife concealed in his leg and retaliates against his attacker. Ben eventually locates Kwon, who holds a gun aimed at Nicholas as their gazes meet. Kim rushes over, addressing Kwon as Papa, which emotionally affects him. Both Ben and Kwon exchange gunfire, displaying their proficiency and manage to hit each other. Nicholas cries out as he witnesses Ben falling. Kwon, also wounded in the chest, collapses. In his dying moments, Ben calls out to Nicholas for an embrace, and they share a hug. Police vehicles approach the ship, and officers shield Kim from the gunfire, protecting her. This marks the culmination of Ben's quest for revenge and rescue, concluding the movie. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.